guys, Ron here, and this is the penultimate video that has to do with my Asone region. If you haven't known, I released my video on the gym leaders, video on the map of my region, 2 videos on the beginning and climax of the game, and before I released the video on the post-game of my Asone region, I thought I should probably release this video where I'll make 5 new evolutions to existing Pokemon, 3 of which will be the final 3 Pokemon I make for Asone. I've made multiple Pokemon evolutions in the past like Psycholion and Carbonk, so make sure to check those videos if you haven't, because they're all in the Asone region playlist. Okay, let's make some evolutions, baby! Let's begin by making a Ledion evolution. It's a ladybug with alien motifs, but I want to expand on its Super Sentai inspiration. It looks like it's wearing a Power Ranger helmet, so how about I expand on the concept and give it a reason for its infatuation with Starlight. I want it to evolve into a fully formed space hero, and its design will be based on the shoulder armor of Super Sentai villains and even some Power Rangers. Its helmet will be an amalgamation of various Power Ranger helmets. I'm going to start out by making a body in a superhero pose. It'll be longer and sleeker than Ledion, but its forearms will be jacked. It'll also have this armor-like shoulder piece. Its body shape is humanoid, but still like other bug Pokemon we've seen. The ultimate decision is what shape the eyes will be. I know I want to combine the eyes into one visor like a Power Ranger, but it should still look like buggy, compound eyes. While looking at reference, I noticed that some Super Sentai helmets have protrusions and extrusions on the side, so I added one on its head. The concept's entirely there, now it's time to know what details I want to add. It'll have the same hands as Ledion, which I just noticed kind of look like the face of a ladybug. Just finishing up by adding spots. Now the whole time I was planning on making it Psychic type until I realized Fighting type made more sense, so its wings aren't really out, it's just floating at least at this point. Its colors are basically a darker and more saturated version of Ledion's color scheme, and the final design will have a slightly bigger head. Behold, Lediandros! Since Andro is the prefix for male, and this Pokemon looks more humanoid, but also as a play on the fact that it has lady and man in its name, alluding to the trope of futuristic alien beings having both feminine and masculine traits, it's a bug fighting type that evolves from Ledion while holding a star medallion at night. When powered up by cosmic energy, Ledion gains an instant increase in ancient aura and evolves into Lediandros. It is believed that Lediandros is an enforcer of good that has come from another planet. The appearance of Lediandros has always been to combat some kind of great evil. These dutiful Pokemon are able to wield immense physical strength and stamina. Their consecutive punches can defeat enemies 100 times their size. Lediandros' gauntlet-like forearms are rock hard, and its helmet-like exoskeleton is both aerodynamic and indestructible. Its visor-like compound eyes are able to enhance its vision tenfold. They're unfazed by fear and never give up. When a team of Lediandros come together, they're unstoppable. They have the abilities Iron Fist and Guts, with the hidden ability Technician. Originally its shiny and even normal color scheme was gonna be black with red spots, but I couldn't help myself with the Green Ranger color scheme. And by the way, Ledion is actually bigger than you think, so Lediandros is less than a foot taller than Ledion. The entire Pokemon is held together by the concept of bugs actually being alien creatures and of course Power Rangers, and while I designed it to originally be bug psychic, aura, like Lucario, can be explained as its power system, making it fighting type. I think it's pretty much what most of us wanted Ledion to evolve into from the beginning. So Crabominable isn't the most popular Pokemon, and a lot of folks wished Crabrawler evolved into something less abominable. Since the whole point of this line is that in pursuit of height, Crabrawler ended up on an icy mountain and evolved to survive, so how about I create its natural evolution? One that simply conquered all of the highest peaks in its immediate area, and is the undisputed champion among its peers. It'll be based on bare-knuckle boxing and utilize this iconic old-timey pose. I want to make it look like it's from the early 20th century. So imagine a Crabrawler with a buff upper body, is in that old-timey boxer pose, and has his antennas actually look like an old-timey haircut. You know that one that is curled and parted in the middle, making that mouth look like an old gentleman's mustache as well. He'll have 2 black eyes, the patterns on its throat kind of look like chest hair, and its tail forms an underwear shape. Now let's redo it all with more certainty and details. The tail that curls to its front will have a pattern that looks like a champion's belt, and the legs are literally just Crabrawler's legs. Some knuckles like Crabominable, and I added more patterns to mimic body hair to emphasize that this is a shirtless bare-knuckle boxer. That's why instead of purple, this dude will be red, so its body is closer to some kind of skin tone. The fact that its claws are red too will make it look like it's not wearing boxing gloves. I also ended up giving him these bandage patterns. Here is Decapound, the bare-knuckle Pokemon. from Decapod, the order of crustaceans that crabs are part of, and Pound. It evolves from Crab Brawler after knocking out an entire trainer's team in all 4 of its region's highest peaks. This is going to be a Pokemon I will probably add to the new region I make in the future, alongside Lediandros. Decapound are revered by their local Crab Brawler for being the reigning champions of their terrain. They are the king of every high point in the immediate vicinity. They are noble fighters who don't engage in combat unless there is an audience and will not strike a downed opponent. They like to be unaided by any items or padding, although each group of Decapound play by their own rules and regulations. They're actually quite intelligent and study the fights of other skilled fighters to enhance their own abilities. Even upon being the strongest in their area, Decapound will continue to train. Its shiny are just inverted colors, more reminiscent of Crabballer's body. It has the ability Hyper Cutter and Iron Fist with the hidden ability Moxie. Honestly, yeah, this is what I expected Crabballer to evolve into originally. While I was never a Crabballerable hater, I do enjoy this a bit more. So a couple months ago, I created an Asonian Spinda that was Psychic type. It was based on lava lamps, and instead of its body movements confusing its opponents, it stands completely still, and the patterns on its body hypnotizes its foes. One Asonian Spinda has an infinite amount of patterns. I want to make an evolution that is Fire Psychic. Its boiling blood has become so energized and filled with psychic energy that it bursts and becomes this Spinda lava tornado. This design was very fun to do because everything was fluid. Spinda's face is basically the only thing that will be relatively similar to its Prevo. The arms are stretched and rotating around it like a tornado. I had the idea to make its ears spin too, making them tangled. The body is a giant swirl and its lava body parts are physically orbiting around it. I decided to make it look like this Pokemon burst out of its lower body. Thought it would be quirky to make its eyes swirl in the opposite directions, and finally added more iconic spots. Originally it had the purple colors of its Prevo, but I made it redder to coincide with its new fire typing and the fact that it's very hot. It honestly looks like the mascot to some kind of delicious food like a yogurt or ice cream. Here is Swirlava, the Twister Pokemon, a fire and psychic type. It evolves from Asonian Spinda at level 37. When Spinda's boiling blood becomes too much for its body to contain, it bursts out in a vortex of psychic energy. Swirlava's gelatinous body is incredibly hot and constantly spinning. Not only are its patterns perpetually changing, but its form is completely fluid. It is able to control the speed of its rotation, unleashing devastating storms of lava. The faster it spins, the hotter it gets. It can telekinetically control its lava plumes. Its body stiffens if it slows down its vortex for too long. It is able to confuse and hypnotize its foes by spinning and changing its patterns. Corporations use this Pokemon's nearly perpetual motion to produce energy for Asone. It can stretch its body to increase in height and width. It will consume all in its path if left unchecked. It has the Own Tempo ability and my original ability Boiling Blood, which boosts its special attack when hit by a fire type move. Its hidden ability is Contrary. Its shiny is just another color of Lava Lamp. I think it turned out amazingly. I've had this idea for many months and I love how it finally exists. I think it's the first Pokemon I made whose final design was revealed in prior videos, particularly the video about the gym leaders that I released a month ago, since the 5th gym leader, Suri, has one. Now I want to make the Asone region's Pikachu clone. It's not an evolution, but it's a Pokemon that is related to an existing Pokemon. I needed a video where this kind of creation fit, so this works. My region's Pikachu clone is based on the Jerboa, definitely native to deserts of the Middle East. But I've always wanted to see a feisty fighting type Pokemon Pikachu clone, so this Pokemon will be kicking and have a superhero theme. Phasmask isn't the only superhero Pokemon in this region. It has a comrade to team up with. Like when designing all cute Pokemon, it's a matter of getting the proportions right so it's actually cute. Too small of a forehead or too big of a body makes it look less diminutive, so I will constantly be shifting body parts and facial features to make it reach ideal cuteness. The pose took a good chunk of time to find. I wanted to look energetic but still be in a believable pose. Let's add the mandatory features like cheek pouches and round black eyes and a rodent mouth. But when the eyes are too close or far apart, they make it less cute, so I have to find the perfect distance. I lowered its face a bit to make it look more precious. It'll have this tuft of fur on its back like Jerboas have, but it also subtly looks like a cape. Long-eared Jerboa ears, but the hardest part is finding a pattern on its head that fits. I chose this one that looks a bit like Emolga's because I like to imply that my Pokemon are biologically related to other Pokemon. It also makes it look like he's wearing a mask or hood, so to round it out I gave it this neck fur to complete its hero costume. Now it looks like it has a full mask and cape. I'm refining the lines and finding the right color scheme. It has to have yellow and white, but the red that I want is difficult to determine. Something a bit brownish will look natural and fit the fighting typing. Get a glimpse of Jerbolt, the disrupting Pokemon. Its Japanese name is Jeruboruto. It's electric fighting type. This Pokemon loves to be the center of attention. This leads Jerbolt to put all their efforts into saving others and fighting evildoers. Its drive to be famous makes Jerbolt trained to take on stronger foes. It even loves to make grand entrances, sometimes at the expense of those it's trying to save, as it will wait for the most entertaining time to enter. It bounces into the scene with its powerful legs and begins to kick its enemies. It can jump 100 feet in the air and flip a Copperajah onto its side with one kick. Its cape-like fur allows it to control the speed at which it falls, and it can use its prehensile tail as a grappling hook. Its thunderous kicks are no joke. It's been found to team up with Phasmask. It has the abilities Quick Feet and Reckless with the hidden ability Volt Absorb. Their shiny is like an alternate costume. I knew that power wasn't going to be the #1 reason anybody would want a Pikachu clone, so I made sure its personality was prioritized. It would be sad if there was only one superhero Pokemon in my region, and since Jerbolt can be found around where Phasmask's family is first found, I theorized that Twug actually gets inspired by Jerbolt's heroics. He's almost like a class clown. It's not the most noble, but definitely brings positivity. And a couple type swap videos ago, I made an Asonian Meowth based on Sphinx cats and the whole ancient Egyptians worshipping cats thing. They're psychic type and floating. Originally I wanted to make a Pokemon that looked like the mythical creature, the Sphinx, but that's already understood from its feline inspiration, so I want to combine it with a Pharaoh, and make a Meowth evolution that was behind all the monuments and tombs in western Asone's deserts. I'll try my best to make the headcloth look natural. Unlike Berserker, I thought it would make this Pokemon's face look closer to Persian's instead of Meowth, which helped it look more like a Sphinx cat. Same scarab on its head, since something like a snake would look unnatural on a Pokemon. The question is what to do with its headcloth that Pharaoh's had. I want to combine it with its mane, but how? I guess like this. Make it look flowy. I'll give it a Meowth body since it's not a Persian, and it'll be floating with its arms behind its back since it never uses them. I decided to make its tail split like most Japanese fictional cats, and combine them in double helix shape to make it look like DNA, since this Pokemon instructs and creates like DNA. Making its head way bigger cause this cat's a genius, adding all the stripes that Headcloth had, but it still looks like a natural part of its lion's mane. The colors are pretty much the same as Asonian Meowth, but goddamn does that DNA tail work better with colors. It'll look even better in the final art. And finally, here is Perrophet, from Persian, Per, and Prophet. It took me and a friend a half an hour to come up with a name that was half as clever as Berserker. It's a pure psychic type that evolves from Asonian Meowth at level 28. Newly discovered hieroglyphics have led modern archaeologists to believe that Perrophet were the puppet masters behind an ancient civilization that once ruled in Asone. These shadow pharaohs would use their telekinesis to construct monuments and tombs. They were worshipped as gods for their ability to create matter. Legendary Perrophets were said to be able to create life. They spend every waking moment floating midair, with their manes constantly flowing and their tails ever twirling. This Pokemon is unbelievably wise. It's always smart to follow its orders. Not only will its judgments be supreme, but those who defy them will be destroyed. They have the abilities Intimidate and Synchronize with the hidden ability Analytic. Okay, so you know how Meowths are seemingly able to produce coins out of nowhere? I turned this type of alchemy into a signature move of Perrophet. It's basically Metronome, but for items, called Creation. Perrophet uses its matter creation powers to create a randomly generated held item. This item goes away at the end of the battle. It's a fun gimmick move that also ties into how this Pokemon is a direct descendant of Mew. This is the final Pokemon I will ever create for the Asone region, so make sure to check out the previous bunch of videos that highlight the characters, map, and story of the region, and subscribe to see next week's video for the Asone region finale, where I describe all the things that happen in the postgame of my region. Everything wraps up there. So check the description for the music I use, my merch, and my social media. Consider becoming a patron or member by clicking the join button to get cool rewards, and I'll see you guys very soon.